Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another video. I had to get on here and tell you all about my day yesterday. I went out for a viewing for a few villas with a client, and the client was from the UK, apparently over the phone. We spoke, but when I met him, he was Indian ethnicity. So as we approached the villas, he pulls out a compass and he started to ask me about the construction of the house and the area of the door and the kitchen, and that the kitchen shouldn't be under the bedroom. And I was like, okay, what do you mean? What are you talking about? So he said, yeah, Vastu, the house has to be according to Vastu. So I'm like, Vastu. So of course, I'm learning so many terminologies for real estate. So I thought it had something to do with the real estate, and that they didn't teach me. So I'm like, Vastu. He was like, yeah, you don't know about it. I was like, no. Vastu, oh, I have to look it up. No, I'm not familiar. I said, okay. And then I thought I had it. I said, oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, some of the developers, they give you, I said, you're talking about the floor plans, right? The layout of the house, some buyers or renters, when they come along, they'll ask for a type TH double H unit, or which represents if it's in the middle of the block, if it's an end unit, if the entrance is at the front or the back, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm remembering. No, that wasn't it at all. So Vastu is an ancient architectural construction practice from India, and it is rooted in belief system. He had a compass that he took around the entire house, measuring, what the distance was, and if it was northwest, and if the bedroom was northeast, and all these regulations. And I was just like, okay. So we looked it up on Google. I'm like, okay, Vastu. So is it religion? So he was like, no, it's not religious. It's just like how the house is supposed to be built. So then he started to go into how they had a house that wasn't in accordance to Vastu before, and they had a really bad experience with the house. So again, I'm confused. I'm like, what is he talking about? So when I went home, I looked into it further, and it just explains the definition, or the information explained that it's an ancient practice in India about the house and how it's supposed to be constructed. And then I read more, and it said, of course, it is connected to prosperity and good fortune. If the house is structured in a certain way, the entrance in a certain way, the kitchen in a certain position, the balance of the house, that bad things will happen to you if it's not in a certain direction, or if it's imbalanced. And I was like, okay, so it's rooted. It is a belief system. All right, cool. So I don't know how many. I think we went to several villas with this person, and one of the agents that I was collaborating with on some of he had a couple of villas. I said, you have something for this man to see, because the ones that I had, he passed on them basically. And then he told me, the agent collab said, he said, what are your requirements, sir? When he saw the client with the what do you call the thing? My mind. The compass. When he saw him with the compass, he was like, what are your requirements? What do you want? Like, what are you doing? So he said, it's Vastu, has to be according to Vastu. So once the client went in one of the bedrooms, I was like, what is Vastu? Do you know what Vastu is? And he was like, yes. He started whispering. He was like, these clients are very difficult. they will see 20 villas and not even choose one. It has to be in accordance to Vastu. So he said once they contact me and tell me, if I hear them say, sir, what is the direction of the door? He said, I say, I don't have any villas. I'm sorry, I don't have anything. And then he just, passes on the client. And I was like, wow, I'm learning so much. This is interesting. It is prominent because there are a lot of Indian or Hindu people, because the Christians don't do it. And as a matter of fact, the client was telling me that he's not the one really into it, but his wife is. And he had a very, very Western name. So that's why I thought he was an Englishman, like just flat out, until I saw him and I was like, okay. So he must be an Indian Christian, because they're the only ones who have like very Western names. And the first name anyway, because the last name is going to be Indian. Or the surname, excuse me, for my British viewers. But so they probably have a mixed marriage. The wife was probably Hindu and he was Christian. So that was a learning experience for me. Very, very interesting. I wanted to share it with you all. And then I'll share my other experience another time. But it's been a very, very hectic 2 days. But I'm learning a lot. And yeah, because we have a large Indian population, these are the things that you'll face. I'll probably learn other things as well that I wasn't aware of. I went in the office and said, why in the world didn't you tell me about Vastu? And they started laughing. I was like, I looked it up last night and started to study it. I was like, what? Oh, man. They were like, yes, no, I had this problem before. I just told the client, no, we don't have any villas. Because you will waste your gas, you will run around, you will get tired, and they still didn't book the place. So that's what I wanted to share. Inshallah, I'll see you all in the next video. And don't forget Hijrah, mandate, sacrifice. Ma'asalama.